Nithyananda, everyone. So now please go ahead. Go ahead and post your powerful, sorry, uh, whatever your darshan, third eye manifestation, please post your third eye revelations in the chat. All of you should be typing. Post your third eye power manifestation. Whatever your third eye revealed, please post it in the chat. Can Joey, what happened to the manifestation? Please quickly post it. I'm projecting the picture now. And this is what I projected. So you can see your responses. You have to manifest Chakrara Sarupani and Jiang. Look at the beginning, made me feel very gentle and gentle. Understand. says share this. Okay, that's why I always encourage you to hold tie the eyes with eye band. Yes, I'll be right back. So we'll have the beautiful session on Narada Bhakti Sutras and how Guru works on it. Just a moment, just in a moment. Yes. Now let's understand how Guru works on the disciples. So there is okay. So how Guru works on you? Right Guru will go on pushing you continuously to move forward. He will never give you the feeling that you are done. I did this much, so I'm done. He never give you the feeling. He go on pushing you. Real peace is the explosion of the mind, which is asking for peace into pieces. Understand? What you think as real peace is the tamasic tiredness, chronic fatigue. That's why when life comes in front of you, you just jump into some cave. Wanted to have a cozy cave. No, even your cave is inside my Himalayas. Even if you catch a cave, you do not understand I am the walls of the cave. A real master will go on pushing you. A real master will not encourage any fatigue or tiredness in you. He will never run a resort. He will he will run only a commune. Maybe after his death, his disciples will change the name into resort. He himself will never run a resort. A person who asks for the peace of the resort out of fatigue, tiredness, and wanting to rest will never be allowed into the presence of a living master. The mind which asks once in a while, I think I need rest. I think I need to break. I need a break. Yes, you need, not from the situation. You need a break in the root. You need to be broken. The mind will ask for the break, need to be broken. That is the break it needs. Samadhi happens to a person whose non-mechanical parts of the brain are alive, awakened. The mind which asks you for vacation, for rest, for peace, for tiredness, has to be blown away. It should explode into pieces. Only then peace happens. A real master is a person who goes on pushing you, the ability to receive as nectar even what you feel as poison and stand with it is what I call tapas. Living with a master is just living with a dynamite diamond. When a dynamic diamond is made to work on any stone other than the diamond part of the stone, everything else will be completely removed. See the quality of the diamond? When it is dynamic, is made to work on any object, all other particles in that object, except its very strength, diamond, it will all be removed. That's the way diamonds are polished. Only diamonds are used to polish a diamond. It is like any stone has some component of a diamond in it and some component of ordinary carbon in it. When the moving dynamic diamond is made to work on that object, all other particles except the diamond component, carbon or anything is burnt away. Same way, when you live with the master, everything other than the master component in you, everything other than the cosmos in you, everything other than the enlightenment in you is burnt away. This is the greatest fortunate and unfortunate thing. If you identify yourself with enlightenment, with the highest reality, this is the most fortunate thing. You don't need to do anything. Just be around, hang around, that's all. Enlightenment simply happens. But if you identify yourself with that perishing components, that carbon component or the non-diamond component, that this is the most torturous suffering. Very beautifully, George Gurdjieff, one of the greatest modern revolutionary masters, says, only if you identify yourself with me, be around me. If you think you are separate, I am separate, then this is not the place for you, because constantly you will feel threatened by me. If you are blissful around the master, be very clear, you are enlightened. There's a beautiful Nithyananda Zen poem written by one of my disciples. If you are living with the master and still he is not driving you crazy up the wall, either he is not enlightened or you are not living with him. As long as you think you are a separate entity other than your highest reality, he will be driving you crazy, constantly shaking the very roots on which you build your foundation. But if you identify with him, with your highest reality, this is the most fortunate thing can happen on the planet Earth, because without any effort, the ultimate will just happen in you. The ultimate will just happen in you without any effort. Please understand, if you are inside the Guru's Sangha, you are under control conditions where your ego is constantly being operated. Nothing needs to be done, just hanging around, but you will see his simple movements, his simple words, just with his look, will be shaking the very foundation on which you are building you, the false you. Anything you do, he will be constantly on the job. You do not know, you can't even imagine how he will create situations, how he will create people, how he will create happenings around you. Just the person who is walking next to you will exactly hit you where you are holding. Don't think he is hitting you. I am hitting you. When you live around the master, even a mosquito bites you only after taking permission from me about the time, the intensity of the bite, and the place where you need to be bitten. Whatever is not you, but which you are holding on to as you, is simply removed from you. Who is the Chinese translation, please? I can say living around the master without resisting is the definition of living enlightenment process. Okay, Chakrara Sarupani, is my speed okay for you? For translation? All you need is this. Whatever you think as your intellect, your efficiency, your energy, just cooperate with that. That's all. If we ask you to sit and unclutch, how much you can, just do that. Nothing more. Just if you fall into unconscious means if your mind drifts away somewhere or if you fall asleep, it's not under your control, then don't worry about it. Don't have guilt. But as long as you are aware, as long as you have the backbone to sit, as long as you have awareness to unclutch, do. That's all, nothing more. If we ask you to chant Mahamantra, as long as your energy is there in the throat, as long as you can hum, do it. That's all, nothing more. See, when you feel you can't do anymore, just your body falls, either falling asleep or your mind has drifted away somewhere, then nothing can be done. It's not under your control. So you are not asked to do things which are beyond your control. No. Just do the things which are under your control. That's enough. Whatever is beyond your control is under his control. Whether it is handling your anger, handling your hunger, handling your fear, handling your greed, or handling your life, anything, do as much as you can with the clear intention that you will do as much as you can. That's all. Nothing else, nothing less, nothing more. As long as you identify yourself with the higher reality, living around the master is the ultimate celebration and liberation. But when you identify yourself with the lower realities other than the master, the big problem that happens is the intellect starts developing and very logical principles go against the master. Now, let's listen. This one of the beautiful early days of Swamiji spoke on Narada Bhakti Sutras. Narada is the great sage from the heavens. He can go every loka, he can just travel, and he's a great, his devotion is the ultimate. So he has given the aphorisms on bhakti, on the devotion. Swamiji has explained some of it. So let's listen on guru-disciple relationship. Any questions so far? Please do let me know.
सा स्वस्मिन् पर प्रेम रूपा. Let me give the translation. That verily is the nature of supreme love of God. Supreme love you have. If it is turned towards God, that is called bhakti. All of you have supreme love for what you think as you. If you think you are the body, you will have the supreme love for the body. If you think you are your identity, you will have the supreme love for that identity. Whatever you think as you will have supreme love for it. Directing that towards the consciousness which continuously excites you is bhakti. When I say God, do not think something somewhere in far. No. The energy which gives you constant excitement, inspiration is God. If you can direct your supreme love towards that consciousness, you are God. You are experiencing God. You are in the devotion. How to direct yourself to that super consciousness, to that intense, exciting energy. So yesterday I was telling you, just remember whatever is happening is auspicious. It may, sometime when you remember, you may think, what nonsensical idea it is. How can I believe whatever is happening is auspicious? But when you are in depression, when you are in really some trouble, if you remember this idea, suddenly you will see, yes, I think even this suffering which I am going through has some meaning for me. See, now your suffering is imaginary. You cannot conquer it. When you are really going through, if you use this idea as an astra, using Shastra as a sastra. Sastra means weapon. Shastra means knowledge, the truth. Use this Shastra, knowledge, as Shastra, weapon. to attack your suffering, suddenly you will see, yes, this has got something to teach me. This is adding something to me. I am expanding. Yes, this has some meaning in my life. Understand? The same concept. Now I am saying, whatever is happening is. Now it may not make big sense if you sit and imagine, if my close, near and dear one dies, will I be able to remember this concept and come out of that suffering? If you imagine now, you can't. Your mind will say, no, 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 I can't handle all those things. Don't imagine now. When really some suffering happens, when it is not imaginary, when it is real, use this weapon, use this idea. You will see it's working. Any idea which clicks during the real suffering and relieves you from the suffering, this idea is initiation. Understand? You received some idea from a master and it really clicks when you are facing a suffering. No initiation will click through imagination. That's an important thing you need to understand. If you are sitting now itself and thinking, if a landslide happens, I am caught in that. How can that be auspicious? It's a imaginary. You can't answer. But when it is happening, this very idea, start use. You will see everything is teaching. And I tell you, even death, when it is happening, just bring this idea to your being. Yes, it must be doing something good to me. You will see, you will realize the truth that you are expanding. You are just developing yourself, you are updating yourself. See, this body has become old, tired, and this mind also a lot of guilt. The unforgettable sufferings have become too much. The miseries and sufferings which you can't forget has become too much. So naturally you decide, let me throw this away and get new system. Let me get a new hardware and new software to start working. See, your hardware also become tired by using damal here, there. And software also become full of virus. Your guilt, the sufferings and miseries which you are not able to forget, completely disturbed. Then what to do? What to do? You throw the whole thing, decide to get a new body. Understand, this knowledge, this experience will land only when you face the suffering and use this knowledge. Not when you are sitting and imagining. If you are sitting now and imagining, if I die, and then if I remember this is also good for me, will I be able to face the death? Your mind will start asking, no, who knows, I'm going to come back. Who knows, I'm going to get better body. Who knows? It will create only more and more imagination, because problem itself is imagination. Solution cannot come. Any solution comes, your mind will create only more and more imaginary problems. Initiation means the Shastra which is given to you, which clicks and liberates you during the real suffering. This is initiation. This is what we call Diksha. Every thought, any knowledge, any truth which comes up and liberates you during the real suffering is a bridge which is bridge to take you to the conscious state. See, before the suffering, you can't solve it. During the suffering, when you use this weapon, suddenly you see you have solved it. Means you are again back in the inspired energy. The suffering has disappeared. The depression has disappeared. You are in the conscious state. You are free. You are liberated. You are in the mood of celebration. Means this knowledge, This Shastra connects you back to your source, having enough of weapons to attack the depression and ability to get back to the conscious state is the path for bhakti. ரொம்ப ஒரு அருமையான முக்கியமான சத்தியம். எப்பப்பெல்லாம் துக்கம் வருதோ அப்பெல்லாம் ஞானியினுடைய வார்த்தைகள் சாஸ்திரம். அத சஸ்திரம் அம்பு மாதிரி உபயோகம் பண்ணி உங்களுடைய துக்கத்திலிருந்து உங்களால வெளியில வர முடிஞ்சதுன்னா அதுதான் தீட்சைன்னு சொல்ற. எந்தெந்த வார்த்தைகளை உபயோகம் பண்ணி உங்களுடைய துக்கத்திலிருந்து உங்களால வெளியில வர முடியுமோ அந்தந்த வார்த்தைகள் எல்லாம் உங்களுக்கு தீட்சையாக அளிக்கப்பட்டிருக்கிறது. நடக்கிறதெல்லாம் நல்லது அப்படின்னு குருவோட வார்த்தைகள் சின்ன சாதாரணமான வார்த்தையினால அபரிமிதமான மரியாதை அந்த வார்த்தை மேல. ஏன்னா எந்த வார்த்தை உங்களை எந்த நேரத்துல மேல தூக்குன்னு உங்களுக்கே தெரியாது. See, Ramakrishna says, which initiation will click at what time and lift you, you don't know. So any word which comes out of the master's being should be heard, meditated and internalized as it is. Enlightened consciousness, whatever word comes out is mantra, even if it comes out with grammatical mistakes. All these Upanishads, if you read, you will see so many grammatical errors and mistakes in Sanskrit, but they are never corrected. The problem is, what they are speaking can't be spoken by words. Logic is too poor. Words are too poor. That's why we call Arsha Prayoga. Understand? Arsha Prayoga means you can't even call the mistakes made by rishis as a mistake. It's called Arsha Prayoga. Their expression. We are nobody to judge. It is as a, we can't even say it's a mistake, but we don't correct, we tolerate it. No. You have no right even to say it's a mistake. It is the expression of a rishi. Because what I am trying to tell is impossible to tell. Impossible to talk. But I am trying to tell whatever way I can, whatever language you can understand. That is where all these problems starts. All the words which is staying in you, which starts working whenever it is needed and brings you out of your supreme love for body and your identity and turns that same love towards your pure inner consciousness is bhakti. All those thoughts are bridge to bhakti. You not staying in depression is a basic necessity for your bhakti. Many people come and tell me, I have so much bhakti for God, but I am always punished and depressed. It's pure cheating. A bhakta can never suffer. Person who is suffering can never be a bhakta. First, you see the definition of bhakti. What Narada says, sa tvasmin para prema rupa. That verily is of the nature of supreme love of God. Understand? You will suffer only if your supreme love is directed towards your body or towards your identity. You cannot suffer if it is directed towards your pure inner space or consciousness, which is God. How to then always be in that bliss. Then have initiation. Initiation means listening to the teachings of the master, which will elevate you, liberate you instantaneously. Whenever the real suffering starts happening, it will just open up. It's like a pop-up, actually. It will just pop up and break the suffering. Suddenly you will see you are back to that your original consciousness. For example, I can give you some of the strong initiation ideas now. Then you'll understand what I mean by the word initiation and how it can lead to real bhakti. During sannyas, you are asked to go through your own death. Because death is one thing which is the most certain thing for which you are not prepared. You are prepared for everything. You are prepared for your old age. You are prepared for this. You are prepared for that. You are even prepared for your cremation expense. We are prepared even for that. But we are not prepared to face the death experience itself. We are always afraid. We don't even want to think. So all the people who want to take sannyas, they are asked to go through that experience. That becomes a big click once you go through that experience. After that, whenever you remember, I am already dead, what is there? Any suffering, this one memory, I am already dead, what is there to bother? Suddenly you will see that suffering will disappear. That will not have any place. If you go through even once that death experience, there is nothing which can give you suffering. You will feel, whatever days I am now living is a bonus already. Already it is a free gift extension. Then what is there to suffer? And there are few more initiations done. Every part of the body will be offered to the master in the fire. They will take the small piece of grass and connect with that body with the mantras and offer that grass into the fire. Means offering to the master. It is offered to the master. Every part surrendering. Whenever you have a problem, just remember, that is already his. If you want, let him run, otherwise it's okay. Suddenly you will see the suffering won't be there. Suffering will not be there. Like these strong ideas which is inserted into you as an experience by the master, which comes up during suffering and liberates you from the suffering, takes you back to the pure conscious state. These techniques, these clicks are only called as initiation. Blessed are those who had initiations from the master. See, whenever I am sitting and talking, suddenly some idea will click. Hey, this is what I was thinking. Your eyes will just open. Your eyes will just expand. This is what I was thinking. So, right, so clearly expressed. Then initiation has happened. You're suddenly sitting straight. The Kundalini is rising. The initiation is happening. Means that idea, that truth, that Shastra will become Shastra now for you. That idea will start now residing in you. Whenever you get this kind of Shastras, catch it. Let it be in your heart for future. This is the real life insurance. The real life insurance is the Shastra, initiations which you get from the master. Is bhakti. He means the supreme love. See, now all of you have supreme love. It's not that you don't have. You have. You have love for what you think as you. If you think you are the body, you have love for that. You are constantly running behind. You are constantly running just to create excitement in that 5 points. The point where you see, point where you smell, point where you hear, point where you taste, and point where you have the pleasure, genital organ. This 5 point to create pleasure for that excitement for that 5 point. You are running around because you think you are the body. You have a supreme love for it. If you think you are mind, you are your identity. You will be running behind for name and fame, award, medal, or do you know who am I? That visiting card, that foolishness. You will be running behind for that. Only when you realize you are something more than this body and mind, this body and identity, your love towards your consciousness will start happening. The supreme love which you have now for your body and your identity will turn to the inner consciousness, will turn towards the pure inner space, thoughtless space. Initiation means receiving all these strong truths which will liberate you during suffering or disturbances. This is what we call Shravana, listening, getting initiated. Next thing comes Manana, remembering and using. Remembering and using means you need to have situations where you will remember masters, initiations and use it. If it is only a devotee relationship, devotee means guys who come here, they use me for their benefit. If it is a devotee relationship, I am here just to enrich them as they want themselves. I can give only initiation. I cannot create the situations in which you will remember these words and practice. But if you are a disciple, committed, if I know for sure you will not run away, I'll create a situations also where you have to remember these initiations and practice it. But for that, a deeper level trust is necessary between master and disciple. As long as I don't trust you, means as long as I think there is a possibility that you will run away, I will never create suffering for you. I'll never create suffering. Only when I see you are ready, now you will stay with me, I'll start create suffering for you. Means where you have to bring the initiation to consciousness and use this weapon to get you back to the enlightenment, to get you to the superconscious state. Because the situation to use these weapons has to be created. But now the society has become such, master is diversible. The relationship between you and me, it is no more a commitment. As long as I don't touch your ego, everything goes well, okay, nice, I think this guy can do something to me. Cool, this guy seems to be very funny. I think I can be around him. He can add something to me. But the moment I put my hand on your pus, your huge tumor, which you carry on your head or heart, the moment I put my hand on that, what will happen? I think this fellow is too arrogant. This fellow is too arrogant. This fellow is not going to do it. I think, this and all is not for me. Then, those days, the master-disciple relationship is non-diversible. Not even in this Janma, not even in one Janma, even for Janmas after janmas, you can't escape. When master-disciple relationship happens, master says, even this energy which is residing in this body leaves this body. This will continue to guide you till you achieve the same state in which this body is this being is residing. Understand? It is non-diversible even for janmas. For births, after births, you can't divorce the master. If the relationship was so deep, then I don't need to send you to Parivarajaka. I'll create enough situations where you have to bring all these teachings and use and achieve the superconscious state. Because the relationship is not so deep, modern society, I don't have any more words. That is the reason I emphasize you guys do the Parivarajaka, wandering, travel, study on your own, so that the life will create situations where you can't blame me. You have to use all that initiation which you received from me to bring you out of the suffering and raise you to superconscious state. You see, this is the greatest thing I tasted in my life, enlightenment. That I am giving you now. How does the devotee to disciple transformation happens? I am hungry for it. You already achieved it. The very mood, you are hungry for it. You achieved it. Anybody who sincerely feels the devotee disciple transition should happen in me, you have done it. See, I am like an ocean, continuously available. Only your feeling that you need is necessary. When you have that, you have done it. So, you don't even have to now worry about what should I do. No, the very desire, very feeling is enough. Now, naturally, the problem is one important thing. The problem is do not enter into the territory of the disciple without knowing the plus and minus of it. When you enter into the territory of the disciple, one nice thing, guaranteed enlightenment. See, for devotees, I am guaranteed solution. For disciples, I am guaranteed enlightenment. Guaranteed enlightenment. But what you are supposed to learn in 200 births, you will learn in 2 years. Means the intensity of joy, the intensity of suffering, both will be very strong. You should be ready for it. My one smile will put you in heaven. It will be so intense, so juicy. Same way, my teaching also will not be roundabout way. Straight away I'll tell. I want to wander on my own after this yatra. Why are there no women sadhus? Can women wander to practice this bridge to love of consciousness? One thing, why no women sadhus? Because enlightenment is easy for women. Falling in tune with the master is easy for women. Always these guys become enlightened just by falling in tune with the master. The male mind only cannot bend and surrender. That is why they need to go through all this suffering. Female mind, when straight away can bend and surrender, connect either to living master or to God. Meera never saw Krishna, but she lived with him. The time gap between Meera and Krishna is 8,800 years. Understand? 8,800 year time gap between Meera and Krishna. But she lived with him just because she is having that feminine being, the feminine mind. So the women, the feminine setup system does not necessarily need wandering. But now you guys may be in the women body, but you are no more women. Because of the perverted modern society, you guys have lost the feminine, that falling in tune. Maybe I'll personally advise you to develop that falling in tune with the master. Then taking up the wandering sadhu life. But if you decide, then nobody can stop. That is different. But because of some practical difficulties, I always tell women not to go for forever.
Yes. What are your understanding? Are you able to follow? And you can write the cognitions that you learned. And we are going to watch the part 2 of this Bhakti Sutra, Narada Bhakti Sutra. Part 2 of this we are going to watch. Any questions? Do you let me know?
In any wilderness. Hiking in any wilderness is perfectly all right, nothing wrong. It is, but Himalayas has got one plus, the energy field. So even if you don't remember, you will be reminded. See, do you understand? There are a lot of these enlightened beings without body are wandering around. So whenever they see you are a sincere person struggling, they will straight away appear in front of you and take care of you, help you. But in the hiking, it won't be. Any wilderness, it won't be there. See, I myself, when I fell in the deep, low moods or depression, I had the great opportunity of seeing this. Some of the masters, even Mahavatar Babaji, I had the darshan of Mahavatar Babaji in Gauri Kund, in Himalayas only. So these guys, these enlightened beings who are not in the body, their frequency is available in this area. Before she did NSP and BSP. NSP is Nithyananda Spurana program. BSP is Bhakti Spurana program. She says she can't come out of her depression or suffering. Now she says, whatever problem comes, I know suddenly I'm out of the problem. I can face anything. Now I understand how I'm able to do this. Means so much of initiation has happened. That's why you are able to handle. Understand, Ramakrishna says beautifully. He was doing some kind of a practices. He's a great tantric. Practices with Bhairavi Brahmani. When he was doing that, he was so devoted to Bhairavi Brahmani, he will not disobey a single word. But when Totaburi came, Totaburi is a Vedanti, enlightened being. When he started practicing under Totaburi, Bhairavi Brahmani said, don't go to him. He said, no, forget about it. He never disrespected her. He had his love for her, but never bothered to go further. So understand, there is no such thing as a guru conflict. As far as me concerned, I always tell people, at least for all the people who think I am your guru, I tell you, wherever you can, go and learn. Whatever you can. Pluck flowers from all garden and make a beautiful garland for you. I am here to enrich you, not to possess you. If you can learn anything anywhere, you are free to do. You have full freedom to go around and learn. One important thing, whoever needs to guide you at whatever time, your heart will simply fall in tune with that person at that time. For example, at one level, you may be feeling connected to one kind of acharya. At one level, suddenly you feel connected to a different level master. There is nothing wrong. Perfectly all right. Just carry on. Your heart is powerful enough, capable enough to guide you to the different higher and higher level masters. Nothing wrong. So there is no such thing as guru disciple, the guru conflict. I'm curious to know if I was your disciple in previous Janma also. Arey, just try to be disciple in this Janma. If you have been my disciple in previous Janma also, and still you have not become enlightened, means you must have been worst idiot. You must have been idiot eating my head in my past life. So better do not wish that you should have been a disciple the last Janma. Even in this Janma, if you are around me for so many years and for some 3-4 years and you will not become enlightened, means you are a headache for me. Either you become part of a solution or you are the problem. Either you get enlightened or you will be the problem for others not to get enlightened. Why does one need to suffer to achieve enlightenment? No, 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 no. Suffering is not necessary. Suffering is not at all necessary. But your foolish mind does not reside in the superconscious state all the time. So suffering just reminds you, hey, still you have not become enlightened, go up. Can bring about enlightenment, but you are not so intelligent to achieve enlightenment through bliss. You are not so intelligent to achieve enlightenment through bliss. That's what you see. Living with the master is from bliss to bliss. Bliss is the goal and the path, but you are not that mature. Naturally, what will you do? You will bring suffering. That's all. Swamiji, I feel that I am sitting on the fence. Don't sit on it. If you fall, you will break your head. I could fall 100% into your heart or return to my former life. What is keeping me from falling is fear. I project all kinds of reasons. I feel rejected. If you ignore me, I want to fall. Somehow I am looking for encouragement or specific invitation what to do. If you are expecting my invitation or my courage, means you want my attention. If you can fall without asking special invitation from me or my attention, you are qualified to fall. Fall now. If we really trust in existence, will existence provide the opportunities to apply the initiations? It will provide the opportunity. If you really persistence, then why don't you take up the wandering? Why don't you take up the Parivrajaka life? It's a very cunning game. See, I trust the existence, but sitting inside my house, inside my air condition, inside my car. And this is a very funny game. Understand? You are not trusting. You are just playing with the word, cheating yourself, not anybody else. Will this happen in ordinary life as well? If we don't have opportunities for being in the wilds, is trusting in existence enough for trusting existence to trust in us? Your trust is not so deep. It's very superficial. The women do the wandering on their own. Those days they used to do, not now. What do you mean by diversing? Means you can, whenever you feel you are not given enough attention or you are disrespected, you will straight away throw the mala away and go away. That's what I call diverse. How to be committed in any relationship? First learn how to be committed in marriage. Then you will understand how to be committed with the Guru-disciple relationship. The society which cannot live with a marriage commitment, very difficult for them to understand the Guru-disciple relationship commitment. The problem is the same, the individualistic, perverted, not thinking as a team or for others or with an open being. The seeker feels the click with the master. Does the master always take on the seeker? Yes. If you have felt the click, already I am there inside you. Unless I decide to enter inside you, you can't even have the click. I have decided to go into you. How does one distinguish, or is there no difference between life experience and experience you send our way? See, there is no difference between life experience and my experience, the experience which I send on the way. One thing you can see, anything which is sent by the master, even to handle, you won't have suffering. Even to handle will be like you will have adventurous spirit. That is the scale. You can find that this is sent by master, not by the life. If you are telling Guru-disciple relationship is janmas after janmas, births after births, then why did I waste 30 years and now only came to you? And the moment you said that this relationship is births after births, my eyes are filled with water, it's flowing, and my whole being is just excited, intensely filled. Understand? Means you are my disciple. You are searching for janmas after janmas. This 30 years you are made to wait because I am only 30. It is just a practical problem, not any spiritual problem. When you say that you would create suffering for one you trust as your disciple, do you mean that suffering is necessary for spiritual evolution? See, when I say the word suffering, I don't mean that ordinary suffering. I mean, I'll create situations where you need to use the initiations, which you may call it as suffering or you may call it as adventure. This Himalayas, because you came voluntarily, it is an adventure. If you are forced to be here, it may be suffering for you. If you are taken up voluntarily, it's adventure. Otherwise, suffering. I learned some from Swamiji. I learned some from one Swamiji, and you are my other master who taught me at a higher level. You both are my two eyes. Wonderful. That's nice. Never have conflict. Never have Guru conflict. Without Guru conflict, if you live, that's enough. Both of us will enrich you. If you have Guru conflict, both of us will not be able to enrich you. So just live without Guru conflict. Both of us will add you whatever you need to learn and whatever needed to be added to you. The truth is you becoming more and more blissful. That's all. That is the final result. For those who want to become your disciple at very young age, why may not have much chance to go through suffering? Who said they may not have much chance to go through suffering? How they can experience supreme consciousness? Come and try to live around in my ashram, then you will understand. The only thoughts I mostly have left are all your teachings, correcting my mind, like you are talking in my head. I feel stuck at this level. After I am corrected, then what to do? How to move past this point? Don't bother. This very initiation is so powerful, it will burn all other sufferings and it will burn itself. See, initiation is such. In India, they will burn the dead bodies. They will use a bamboo stick to burn the body, and finally they will throw that bamboo also into the same fire. Initiation is like that. It will be used to burn all your sufferings. Finally, that initiation itself will be burnt in that same fire. So you don't have to worry about how to go beyond. Will the disciple come to know that his suffering is created by his master, and hence take it as a prasadam? Yes, he will come to know very clearly. That's what it will be, like adventure. Swami, after the disciple gets enlightened, thus the guru-disciple relationship continues. It continues much more deeper way, in a much more beautiful way, much more blissful way. It's no more two different things. It is just feeling connected. It is just feeling connected. Very deep feeling. Somebody asked me the other day, have you given enlightenment to any of your disciples? I did not feel that fellow is worthy enough of receiving the answer. That's why I just avoided and went away. Now I answer you guys, yes, I have done my job. Live near my close disciples. And they are also given a strong, clear instruction. They won't declare. They will never tell by words, but they can just radiate the presence. My presence. You will see that, you experience that. Through that experience, if when you smell them, then they may open and share what happened inside them. There, before Nithyananda and after Nithyananda. When you first entered in the Delhi gathering, automatically I started crying, and then no words came out. Is it one kind of bhakti? Yes, Ramakrishna says, whenever, if your eyes are filled, if you are overflowing, when you see or remember God or Guru's name, this is last birth for you. So, that's also surely a kind of bhakti. But the fools think that this is too much emotional, and that is not the true bhakti. Understand? Fools are those who can't be filled by the master's presence or the divine presence. If you are filled, overflowing, only one thing, keep away from the idiot intellectuals. Keep yourself safe from the so-called intellectuals who will advise you. Just escape from them. Whenever you see them, understand you are seeing Rakshasas and run away.
Yes. I hope all of you have enjoyed the Bhakti Sutra. Can you all summarize what you have learned? What are the cognitions that you have learned today? Yes. Now it's time to conclude the sessions here for today. And let's pay our deepest gratitude to Swamiji. With the space of deep gratitude, let's conclude with the Purna Mantra. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudashyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi Harihi Om Tasat Sarvam Bhagavad Shri Nithyananda Paramashiva Padukarpanamastu Om Nithyanandam. Nithyanandam, everyone. Thank you so much. See you all tomorrow. Nithyanandam.